Hello and welcome. In this video, I want to share with you how you can quickly create creases along the edges of your mesh using the bevel modifier. And this is made possible with the new custom profile, which is currently only available on the latest experimental branches, which you can get by going to blender.org/experimental. Now, to fully explain how the custom profile works, I'm going to be using this basic cube here for easier demonstration. So if I go ahead and add in the bevel modifier and scroll down, you see the custom profile. You just need to click on it to enable this new options. Now if you take a look at this curve or this preset and the angle of this cube, we can see that this angle here pretty much represents the default behavior of the bevel modifier. So whatever happens to in between this curve here will determine what will happen in between the bevel. So if I move this forward, or let's say an angle like this, I should get a bevel that goes inside, but by default nothing will happen. Reason being, the bevel modifier starts with one segment and you need way more than one if you're going to be using the custom profile. For demonstration, I'm going to be using 5 segments, and I can either choose to have a more or less bevel. Let me go with something like this. Okay, so this should be enough for demonstration. Now if I come back down to my custom profile, if you take a look at the curves, we can see some new points have appeared here. These are the segments that we're creating. So this shows how the segments are being deformed. So now I can pull and push in points, and once I let go, whatever I've done applies to the object. Sometimes it might create some weird artifacts, and you can choose to either cut it off or grid fill it. So this is basically how the custom profile works. You're gonna need to like play with it a bit to get a full grasp of it, and sometimes these sample straight edges and even lengths tend to create some more interesting shapes. You can choose to either have sharp or smooth fall off by selecting the points and choosing sharp or smooth. Now if I come back to my jacket here over here and take a look at my custom profile, this is what I have. For this jacket, it's mostly consists of let me use add-ups to show you my modifiers here. If I minimize this, if I turn off all my modifiers, all I have is a basic plane that was mirrored, a surface so I can have enough geometry to shrink wrap it on top my base mesh, a solidify modifier to create the depth, and once I turn on the bevel, you can see the creases along the edges of the mesh, and another soft to smoothing the entire jacket. Now if I come down here to my custom profile, how I went about creating the creases was let's move in a bit. Over here I started off with a smooth transition. Now this straight-ish looking edge here is what I have over here. Now to create the crease, I pulled one of the points way back to create something like an inset that insert the mesh into the object. It took it inside, but initially it was kind of sharp, so I added 2 more points here and here and give them a smooth transition to create some smoothish looking transitions across the mesh. Now by default, the bevel modifier starts with none or angle. This sometimes if I choose angle for example, it creates some artifacts because the bevel modifier applies to the edges of your mesh. So since I wanted it to apply to just the edges of the cloth object, I use weight, and in edit mode, if you look at the edges of my mesh, you can see this bluish looking object. This is like weight painting but for edges in bevel. I think the best way to explain this is if I use this cube again. If I go into edit mode, select 2 edges, now hit N to bring up the side panel. Underneath item we have edges data. Under bevel weight, if I increase it to 1 or 1, I think that's the highest, it creates you can see a bluish looking line. So this means that I have a bevel weight of 1 for this object. Now if I come to the limit method and choose weight, it uses this weight that I have in here to bevel just this edge, and it leaves every other thing, every other edge is unaffected. So that way you can limit where you want your creases to appear across the mesh. Now this one still looks a bit sharp, so I could just add another bevel modifier to smoothen the transition across the object. That's what I use to limit this, because if I were to choose none or angled, it's going to create a bevel on every edges, and this freeze slows down my computer. And that was how I created the creases for these jackets, which I used for this sculpt, and it turned out pretty okay. That's it. Thanks for watching. If you know of any more fun ways we can make use of the custom profiles to create some weird and interesting looking shapes, please let me know in the comments, as I would greatly appreciate it. And if the Lord tarries, I will hope to see you guys next time. Bye.